Prophet Jeremiah. Jeremiah's family history. Another prophet is Jeremiah, from the house of Levi ibn Jacob. It has been claimed that he was Al-Qidr. This was related by Al-Dahat from Ibn Abbas, but it is not true. Traditions about Jeremiah reported that it is written in some scrolls that Jeremiah stood upon the blood of John ibn Zechariah while it was flowing, and he said, O blood, you have enlightened the people, so take a rest. So it stopped and condensed until it disappeared. There is a tradition that Jeremiah asked Allah, O Lord, which of your slaves is more lovable to you? He answered, those who remember me most away from their remembrance of my creatures, those who are not thinking of death nor speak of eternal living, those who, when they are allured by the riches of this world, despise them, and when they lose them are happy. Those have my love indeed, and I shall reward them more than they desire. Allah's warning to the children of Israel. Almighty Allah declared, and we gave Moses the scripture and made it a guidance for the children of Israel, saying, take naught other than me as your wakil protector, Lord and disposer of your affairs. Our offspring of those what we carried in the ship with Noah. Verily, he was a grateful slave, and we decreed for the children of Israel in the scripture that indeed you would do mischief of the earth twice, and you will become tyrants and extremely arrogant. So when the promise came for the first of the two, we sent against your slaves of yours, given to terrible warfare. They entered the very innermost parts of your homes, and it was a promise completely fulfilled. Then we gave you once again a return of victory over them, and we helped you with wealth and children, and made you more numerous in manpower. And we said, if you do good for yourselves, and if you do evil, you do it against yourselves. And then when the second promise came to pass, we permitted your enemies to make your faces sorrowful, and to enter the mosque of Jerusalem as they had entered it before, and to destroy with utter destruction that fell in their hands. And we said in the Torah, it may be that your Lord may show mercy unto you, but if you return to sins, we shall return to our punishment, and we have made hell a prison for the disbelievers. Allah's message to the children of Israel reported that when sin increased, Allah revealed to an Israelite prophet called Amos, Mamia, that he should stand before his people and admonish them that they are hard-headed, blind and deaf, and tell them, I, Allah, remember their forefathers, and that makes me merciful with them, and ask them about my bounty. Can any of them benefit from disobeying me, and does any suffer who obeys me? The beasts remember their countries and return to them. But those before have forgotten why I have favoured them for the sake of their forefathers, and have misused their generosity. Your cries have forgotten my tenets, and your reciters worship other than me, and your women have not learned a useful lesson, and their rulers have lied against me and my messengers. Their hearts and mouths are full of lies, and I swear by my majesty and power that I will send upon them people with strange tongues and strange faces, merciless in the face of their tears, and I shall send them a tyrannous, cruel king, with an army like clouds, and followers like storms, and their flags like the wings of eagles, and the paces of their hosts. like the decades of a journey. They will return buildings to dust and leave the villages a wilderness. Woe betide it and its inhabitants if they shout and invoke. I will not look at their faces. Allah's warning to the children of Israel, variation. Related the same in these words, said that Idris told them that Allah the Exalted sent Jeremiah to the children of Israel when the situation had become worse among them. In disobedience, killing of prophets and covetousness, Allah was determined to revenge himself upon them vindictively, and so he revealed to Jeremiah, I am going to destroy Jerusalem, the children of Israel, in revenge. Go to the dome of the rock, I will give you my commands and revelations. Jeremiah stood up and rent his clothes and applied ashes to his face and fell prostrate and said, O Lord, what would that my mother had not borne me when you made me the last prophet of Israel, and Jerusalem be destroyed in my time. Allah said, Raise your head. He raised his head, wept and said, O my Lord, what will you set against them? He said, The worshippers of fire who do not fear my punishment nor expect my reward, stand up, Jeremiah, and hear the news about Israel before I chose you. I had made you and favored you and honored you. Go with the king and guide and protect him. He was with the king while he was receiving revelation from Allah, and they forgot how Allah saved them. Go and tell them what I have told you. O Allah, I am weak, and if you do not strengthen me, do you not know that all affairs are controlled by me? I am Allah without semblance, or any like me. I spoke to the ocean, so I am with you, and nothing shall harm you. Go to your people and tell them Allah has remembered you with his remembrance of our forefathers' good deeds. The animals remember their countries and return to them. But those people of yours are drenched in destruction and damnation, for they have forgotten the purpose of my generosity to their forefathers and have misplaced my favors. The scholars and priests have gone astray and have worshipped another god besides me. As for their kings and princes, they have been lavish with my bounty, and though themselves saved from my fate, they abandon my book and kill my prophets. Is it possible for me to have a partner? Is it possible for me to make a creature to be worshipped and to be obeyed besides me? As for their reciters and jurists, they teach and learn what they like. As for the children of the prophets, they are oppressed and